All right. Big questions, big answers today. A lot of people are asking, how can I be less pessimistic? How can I be more hopeful and optimistic in my thinking? I don't want to be down all the time. So I'm about to hit a little trail run. Why don't you come along with me? And along the way, I'll take some breaks, I'll stop, and I will answer this question for you. Let's go. So, first things first, this being negative all the time, this idea that everything is going to go poorly, this is the philosophy of cynicism. All right. It's been around for a very long time. And I want to let you know it's pretty natural to get cynical and be pessimistic about the future. It makes a lot of sense in a world where a lot of things don't always work out, when things don't always go your way. But about 2,300 years ago, we Stoics thought this is a pretty miserable way to live, and we got over it. We developed a new philosophy that's not such a downer. It's not so depressing. There's a lot more hope, and it's a lot more actionable. All right. The idea is life doesn't happen to you, you happen to it, and all the things you can do to take a little control here and improve your outlook. Have a happier life. Do well with the time you have here. So just remember, cynicism is old news. We've moved on from that, and there is a better way now. Let's get going down this trail, and I will hit the next topic soon. So let's talk about the kind of optimism that you want to develop because it's very specific. All right. You don't want to be ridiculous. You don't want to be overly hopeful or delusional. You want some optimism that actually serves you, some hope that actually improves your life. So for this, I think we need to turn to James Stockdale. This is Admiral James Stockdale, who was shot down over Vietnam and spent a lot of time in the Hanoi Hilton. He was a leader there, and he observed a lot of U.S. servicemen who were imprisoned, and he learned a lot about hope, and he learned a lot about how to practice stoicism in an awful environment. And he developed what's called the Stockdale paradox, which basically says you got to be of two minds. You have to have absolute belief and absolute faith that things are going to turn out, that you're going to see your way through this bad situation. At the same time, you have to be totally realistic, practical about the situation that you're actually in. You don't want to delude yourself. You want to be realistic, but you still want to have hope. Living in between those two things is where you want to be. So your hope and your optimism isn't foolish, but practical and useful. We want to avoid the pessimism and embrace the optimism, but we want it to have a point. We want it to have a purpose so that our lives, so that our careers are better than they were when you were just in a negative mindset all the time. And that's the Stockdale paradox. Moving on. Let's go. All right, next stop. This is a how-to video, so let me give you a how-to. Try third-person thinking, third-person framing. Just because you're feeling something or thinking something doesn't mean those things define you. So, way to apply third-person thinking is not to tell yourself, I am very pessimistic, I am very negative. Instead, tell yourself, pessimism is a thought that I'm having right now. Or in my case, it would be, in Steve's brain, there are some negative thoughts. You acknowledge them. They're there. They're present, but they are not you. You are not identifying with them. It's a small degree of separation, but it helps you quite a bit. All right, next is the dichotomy of control. You can't practice stoicism without it. It is a key component of living a good, happy life and a life free of negativity and pessimism. So, I've made several videos on this. There's a lot of writing about it. If you want to learn more, you can go to those resources. I'll put some links in the description here, but essentially, some things are in your control and some things are not in your control. The things that are within your control and always within your power, things you can always do something about, are your thoughts, your values, your beliefs, what you choose to do, and what you choose to say. This is dichotomy of control. So that means you have the power over anything that happens inside your own brain, meaning that you get to choose what you focus on, what you dwell on, what you give your attention to. So if you're having pessimistic, negative thoughts, try to starve them a little bit. Starve them for attention, starve them for focus. You also have some positive, hopeful thoughts somewhere in your brain. Give those the attention instead. Just like a plant Whatever you shine the sunlight on is going to grow. Whatever you put in the dark is going to wither and die. So, yeah, you're going to have negative thoughts. Yeah, you're going to have pessimistic thoughts, but make it your practice to not shine any light on them, not give them too much attention, not give them too much focus, and find something else to focus on that's more positive, more optimistic instead. It's going to help you out a lot. All right, next up on our little run here is I want to talk to you about the science, the modern science of worry and anxiety being pessimistic. I want you to understand something that science has proven in multiple research studies. Pessimism is not warranted. It's non-scientific. It is almost always a lie. There's been a lot of research studies done on how many things people worry about, they're pessimistic about, and how many ever actually come true or turn out that way. The result is positive, meaning the negative, pessimistic point of view, that prediction that we make, is almost always false. Every time they do this research study, it's in the high 90 percentile that we worry about nothing, that our brains just work over time, being pessimistic and creating disasters where there are none. The research shows that pessimism is the wrong way to be. Why? Not because you're bad or it's bad or anything like that, but because it's statistically wrong most of the time. You don't want to be wrong. You want to be right. And honestly, being optimistic and positive about your future and about events happening in your future, things you forecast, is statistically the smarter way to go. You're going to be right more often if you're not pessimistic. I know life seems like things never work out, things never go your way, but you have an outcome bias. You have a negative outcome bias. You focus entirely on the negatives. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just how our brains work. But that negative outcome focus and bias really does hurt your mentality, all right? Where you'd be better off being positive, optimistic, and hopeful. You just feel like things don't work out. The science says that's not true. Ding, ding, ding. Are you listening? Class is in session. So, the next thing we need to talk about is some Marcus Aurelius. He said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. What he's saying here is that your brain is an ecosystem. Your mentality is an environment. What you put in it, what you spend all day filling it up with, is going to determine whether that is a toxic environment or whether that is a nice, pleasant, positive place to be. So control your inputs. The people you hang around, find hopeful people, find optimistic people. The content you consume, the videos you watch, the movies you watch, the shows you watch, the music you listen to. There is hopeful, positive, motivational stuff out there. Fill your mind with that. In that way, your ecosystem improves. You start to clean things up. It's less toxic in there because the operating system that has a lot of positive inputs is going to have positive outputs. It just works that way. That positive output is going to be hope and optimism and a lot less pessimistic, negative, gloomy, doomy thoughts. Clean your car, you clean your kitchen. Why don't you clean your brain and make it a nice place to live your life? Because that's where you live your life, inside your own mind. All right, next. Self talk is important. How you identify yourself is important. I want you to start putting a little effort into and thinking about identifying as a hopeful, optimistic person. Instead of telling yourself the story that I am just negative, that I'm just gloomy, I'm just pessimistic, I'm just very cynical. Stop telling yourself that story because it doesn't serve you, it doesn't help you to live that good, positive life that you're looking for. Identify as a positive, optimistic, hopeful person instead of putting a label on yourself and telling yourself that I just am this thing. It's not true. You are whatever you want to be. You write your own story. All right, last one. Some of you are saying, but Steve, you don't know what it's like in here. It's just a swarm of pessimistic, negative thoughts all the time. Maybe my brain is broken. Maybe it's just overly negative and there's nothing I can do about it. Wrong. Everybody's brain is like that. Everybody is fighting the same battle. You are not alone. I deal with it constantly. Listen, thoughts come and go. You have millions of thoughts a day. Some are very optimistic, some are very hopeful, some are very negative, some are very pessimistic, some are pretty dark, some are kind of funny. We have tons of thoughts. Our brains just go and go and go and go and constantly model the future. Luckily, there is hope for you. There's hope for me and everybody out there. If you're trying to wrap your mind around how to control what you're thinking about, consider this. You're in a crowded room at a crowded party. There's all sorts of people there. There's lots of conversations going on. This group is talking about this. The other group is talking about that. I think that person over there just said my name. Are they talking about me? Somebody's talking about the food, somebody's talking about the news. And if you're just standing there alone and you're being kind of nosy, you're eavesdropping, just like with your hearing, you can tune what conversation you're listening to. The choice you have here is where you focus that energy. You can eavesdrop on a negative conversation where they're spreading gossip or talking about something horrible, or you can move over a few steps and focus on the conversation where they're talking about a new job, their new puppy, something hopeful. They're looking forward to doing something, a positive vacation, a good experience, some charity work. Which conversation are you trying to listen to? When you can answer that question for yourself, you can clean that environment that we talked about. You have this skill. You can tune your attention. You do it all the time with the things you listen to, with the things you pay attention to. Thoughts are no different. Thoughts are not your master. They're just something that pass through your mind. The ones that take hold, the ones that have any power, are the ones that you grab and put at the center of your attention. Think about that next time you're dealing with a whole slew of negative thoughts. Look, I know it's messy in there. It's fine. Don't look at the mess. Pick out the little nuggets of good stuff. As you do it, your capacity for doing it will grow, and your positivity, your hope, and your optimism will grow along with it. It takes time, it takes discipline, it takes practice. What else are you going to do? Sit around and be miserable and negative your whole life? No, work on it. It is possible. I used to be very negative myself. I used to be very cynical, very skeptical of everything and everybody. Those thoughts are still present even today. But I can tell you, I am doing a lot better at just focusing my attention on the good, positive, hopeful thoughts. It's a community of thoughts. I choose who gets promoted to be the mayor of that community. That's what I'm working on. And if you choose to do it, it'll help you too. And with that, I am hopeful and optimistic that you are going to do great. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, if you want to learn more. Subscribe to Street Stoic. I'm going to try to do a lot more of these how to videos for you. I've already got over 50 videos on there, including the shorts, and I'm just adding more and more every day. I'm trying to give you stuff that's useful, stuff that's helpful, things that have been around thousands of years that are battle tested, things I actually do on the streets that have improved my life and my career for the better. And there's a lot more coming. So subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Hope everybody takes care. And as always, be safe out there.